Okay, students, I'm going to do a quick video showing you how to set up and throw your first cylinder on the potter's wheel. You're going to notice here I have one of the bats on the wheel. This is the plastic piece that fits over top of the screws, ready to go. I've got my ball of clay. You want to make it into a ball, hand wedge it down so that it has a nice smooth surface and is ready to be thrown. And you're going to look for the middle of the bat here, this plate, and I'm going to put the clay down there. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do now that I've gotten here is obviously turn on and get the wheel moving. Faster speed. Now the first thing we're going to do with the clay is called centering. You're going to notice the clay is kind of lumpy and wobbling there. I want a little bit faster of a speed for this part than I do when I'm pulling walls and making the pot that I'm making, but you want a little faster. And my goal here is I'm going to get this clay so it doesn't wobble, and it's going to be in a nice smooth mound or puck and be ready to have the wheels thrown. So the first thing I'm going to do here is center, put weight on. I'm going to put pressure this way on the clay, then I'm going to use both hands and push it this way. I'm going to pull it up, push it back down. That's called coning up and coning down. You're going to see me do that a couple of times, and then finally I'll set it to where the finished part is and it's not wobbling at all. Okay, here we go. Using a lot of water to keep the clay nice and slick. Okay, cone up. Alright, now you'll see that the clay is formed in the center here. The wobble is very minimal, if at all. Put some on there, I can really get the wobble out if I put my hand on here and get it to perfect. You'll see I'll turn it off there and it looks like a nice little mound. Now the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put my thumb in the center, just off center, and I'm going to start to put the bottom of the cylinder that I'm making, I'm going to start forming that now. So it should have hole in the middle, sides are going to stay together. You're going to see the cylinder start to form. Okay, here you can see I've got the base in there. I've put the sponge in to soak up some of the water. I use a lot of water to keep that clay slick. But what I've done now is form the beginning of a pot or whatever cylinder that I'm making here. And I'm just literally going to make a cylinder. When you start this, you should just make a cylinder. And then from there, you can add bumps and different details to it. But this is what you're looking for first. Now, I'm going to get my hands in there, and I'm going to start lifting the walls up is the next thing. Okay, I'm going to take some of the clay off my hands here. And I'm going to go around here, work on one side, keep my arms grounded, and I'm going to pull up. So it'll almost look like if I use my sponge, I'll have the sponge here. If not, it would be my fingers here. I'm going to keep my hands together so they don't wobble. And I'm going to go in and then pull up, just like that. Just these two fingers right there, okay? So you just see that in motion. I need to slow the wheel down a little bit more when you're pulling walls. You don't want the speed to throw it off center, okay? So I'm gonna start the wheel up here, not nearly as fast as before. Okay, we're gonna be super patient with it. Add a little water there and start pulling the walls. Okay, there's one pull. Soak up the water here and check it out. Nice cylinder, ready for another pull. Okay, that's the second pull up. Cylinders started together. You can see a little bit of a wobble, which I can pretty much take out of it if I put my hand on it right there. You go. Constantly taking the water out of it, checking the depth, make sure it didn't go down any further, create any bumps on the bottom. Okay, I'm ready for another pull. Add a little water. There we go. There we go. Cylinder's getting even taller. See here, get down there. Hey. Now, one thing I do want you to notice, now I can do anything I want to this. I can make it go out, I can flare it up, but this is where you want to start. However, one last thing to do, turn this off, and you can see how, looking at how that is in particular, you're going to see how the flare out at the bottom. So we're going to get rid of that. I'm going to show you how to do that from this angle. The camera right back there. Alright, so I'm going to use my triangle rib here, my wooden rib, and I'm going to start pulling away some of this extra stuff there. You'll see me do that. Okay, and I can use any corner here. I like to use that right angle edge. Okay, any extra clay, just pull off, put in your trim bucket. And there you go. Now, not a finished piece. From here, I can do whatever I want to it. I can flare it out. I can make it taller. But we have what initially is a pretty good cylinder. And the best way to check that is to cut it in half. Look and see how you did. So you cut that part off, pull that, and you can see it's a little thick down in this end. So I could do a better job of pulling that out and trying to go straight up, but the walls look pretty consistent. Feeling pretty good about it. You can do a lot of things with this. Even with this extra on the bottom, it gives you a little bit more room to trim up the bottom and make it look good. All right, your turn. Give it a try.